I thought my wife was dedicated to her early morning runs. Turns out she was just running to her secret lover in the parking lot. If you love Reddit stories as much as I do, you're in the right place. Take a sec to subscribe. Now, let's dive in. The alarm buzzes at 4:45 a.m., but I'm already awake. I hear the soft rustle of sheets as my wife, Lena, slides out of bed, moving with the same quiet efficiency she does every morning. I don't say anything at first, just watch from the sliver of light spilling from the bathroom as she pulls on her running gear. She has a ritual: black leggings, a fitted tank, her hair in a tight ponytail, stretches her arms, rolls her neck, ties her laces twice, a habit she picked up in high school track. It's the same every day, precise as clockwork. Be safe, I murmur, my voice rough with sleep. She pauses, just for a second. Always, she says, flashing a quick smile before grabbing her keys and heading out. The front door closes softly behind her. A few minutes later, I hear the hum of the car pulling out of the driveway. Lena doesn't like running in the neighborhood, says it's too crowded, too many people walking their dogs, too many cars flying past at the wrong hour. Instead, she drives 5 minutes to the river path, a scenic trail with crisp morning air and the soft ripple of water along the banks. She always says it helps her clear her mind before the day starts. I used to admire that about her discipline, her dedication, but lately, I don't know, something's changed. I roll onto my back and stare at the ceiling. There's an ache I can't explain, a feeling that settled into my bones without warning. It's not something I can put into words, not yet. It's just small things, the way she's more distracted lately, always checking her phone. The way she comes home from her runs without a drop of sweat on her forehead. The way she pulls away when I reach for her in bed, murmuring, "Too tired. Long day." It could be nothing. I tell myself that as I finally push the covers back and head to the kitchen. The house is quiet, still. I pour my coffee, check the time. She'll be back soon. I shake the thought off, take a sip of my coffee, and tell myself not to overthink it. But something lingers in my mind, sharp and nagging, like a stone in my shoe. It could be nothing, or it could be everything. Lena's smartwatch is still on the nightstand. I don't notice it at first, not until I reach over to grab my phone. The familiar, sleek band is right where she usually leaves it at night. Only, she never forgets it. Ever. I sit up slowly, rubbing the sleep from my eyes. My first thought is to text her, but I hesitate. It's not a big deal. She probably just rushed out the door, preoccupied. And yet, I glance at the clock. 5:12 a.m. She should be halfway through her run by now. I turn the watch over in my hands, debating whether to brush it off. Then, almost without thinking, I grab my phone and open the Find My Device app. A blue dot appears on the map. It's not moving. I frown. The dot isn't on the river trail. It's sitting in a parking lot about 2 miles away, far from the entrance to the running path. A strange heat crawls up my neck. My gut says something's wrong, but my mind scrambles for logical explanations. Maybe she stopped for gas? Maybe she needed to use a restroom? I tell myself to let it go, but my thumb is already hovering over the call button. It rings twice before she answers. "Hey," she says, a little breathless. "What's up?" I listen carefully. No wind, no footsteps, no sound of her running. "Forgot your watch," I say casually, watching the blue dot on my screen. It doesn't move. "Where are you?" A pause. "On the trail," she says. "Why?" I stare at the map. My heart starts to thump harder, not from anger, not yet, but something colder. The blue dot stays in the parking lot. I force a chuckle. No reason. Just checking in. I'll be home soon." She hangs up before I can say anything else. I lower the phone slowly, still staring at the screen. She lied. I don't know why. I don't know what she's hiding. But for the first time, I know for certain something is wrong. I don't say anything when Lena gets home. She walks through the door looking as put together as ever, leggings smooth, ponytail tight, her face barely flushed. She offers a quick smile, drops her keys into the bowl by the door, and heads straight for the kitchen, like it's just another morning. Like she didn't just lie to me. I watch her from the living room, my mind racing. Should I call her out? Ask why she said she was on the trail when she was in that parking lot? But I don't. Not yet. Instead, I test the waters. Good run? She pauses mid-sip of water, then nods. Yeah, felt good. My stomach tightens. She doesn't know I know. I clear my throat. Trail busy? She shrugs. Not really. Just the usual crowd. Lie. I swallow down the bitterness rising in my throat. I want to confront her, demand to know the truth. But something holds me back. A part of me, the part that still wants to believe in us, isn't ready for the answer. So I let it go, for now. But I start paying attention. Over the next few days, I keep my eyes open, and the more I notice, the worse it gets. She guards her phone like it holds state secrets, turns the screen away when I walk by, keeps it face down on the table. I hear the chime of messages late at night, but when I ask who it is, she waves it off. Just work stuff. She showers the moment she gets home from her runs. She never used to. Worst of all, she's pulling away from me. She's still here, physically, but it feels like she's slipping through my fingers, like every day she's further away. I try to act normal, try to push down the gnawing doubt, but it's growing. And no matter how much I try to ignore it, I can't shake the feeling that I'm losing her, or that maybe I already have. I tell myself I'm overthinking it. That's what I say as I pour my coffee. That's what I tell myself when Lena ties her shoes and heads out like she always does, giving me the same quick smile she's given me for years. But doubt doesn't fade with denial. It festers. So when she leaves, I don't just sit there. I grab my keys. I wait exactly 5 minutes before getting in the car, giving her enough of a head start so she won't notice me. Then I follow. The sun is barely up when I pull into the parking lot 2 miles away, the same one I saw on the app. And she's there, but she's not running. She's sitting in her car, engine off, just waiting. My pulse pounds in my ears. I grip the wheels so tight my knuckles turn white. What the hell is she waiting for? And then a second car pulls in. I tense. Watch. It stops beside hers. A man gets out. I don't recognize him, but I don't have to. The way Lena's face changes when she sees him tells me everything. She lights up. Not the way she looks at me after a long day. Not the tired, half-hearted smiles I get before she turns over in bed. This smile is effortless. Easy. Like breathing. And he leans in, too close. My heart slams against my ribs. I feel sick. I fumble for my phone and snap a picture, proof. But I don't move. I don't get out. Because the part of me that still wants to believe, the part of me that loved her before this moment, wants to pretend there's some other explanation, that I didn't just see what I saw, that I didn't just watch my wife betray me in real time, but deep down, I already know. I know everything is about to change. Damn, this story is crazy. Leave a comment below what you think they should do in this situation. And remember to hit the like button. It really helps boost the channel and the YouTube algorithm, so more people find us and we can keep bringing you great content. Okay, let's get back to it. I don't sleep that night. I don't eat. I just sit in the dark, staring at my phone, staring at the photo, a grainy, early morning snapshot of my wife and him. I could tell myself it means nothing, that they were just talking, that I didn't see what I saw, but I'd be lying to myself. And I've had enough of lies. When Lena comes home from work that evening, I'm waiting. She pauses in the doorway when she sees me, sitting in the dim living room, phone in hand, jaw tight. She knows. I see it in the way her shoulders stiffen, in the flicker of something, panic, guilt, that crosses her face before she masks it. Hey, she says cautiously. I turn my phone around. The picture fills the screen. She stares, doesn't speak. Then finally she exhales, rubbing her temple like she's already exhausted. You followed me? That's her first response. Not, it's not what it looks like. Not, I can explain. Not even a damn apology. I let out a bitter laugh. That's what you're worried about? That I followed you? She shakes her head, voice sharp. You don't trust me? Something inside me snaps. Trust you? I repeat, my voice rising. Are you serious right now? I push to my feet, closing the distance between us. I watched you. I saw him pull up. I saw you smiling at him like... I choke on the words, anger and pain clashing in my chest. She folds her arms. You're making this bigger than it is. I bark out a hollow laugh, then explain it. She doesn't. She just stands there. I wait for her to say something, anything that might make this hurt less. But she doesn't. Instead, she deflects. I can't do this right now. She turns, heads for the bedroom. Just like that. Like this conversation doesn't matter. Like I don't matter. And that's when I know. She won't tell me the truth. She won't admit it. Won't explain. And that means I have to find out for myself. I sit in my car long after work, staring at the dashboard, knowing I should go home. But I can't, because home doesn't feel like home anymore. Not when Lena is there. Not when every time I look at her, I see that moment replaying in my head. Her smile, his face, the space between them that wasn't space at all. My hands grip the wheel so tight they ache. I could let this go. I could pretend I never saw what I saw, swallow the doubt, push past the pain, tell myself I'm just being paranoid. But I already know that's not an option, not after last night. When I finally walk through the door, the house is too quiet. Lena's in the kitchen, standing by the sink, scrolling through her phone. She doesn't look up, doesn't say a word. I set my keys down, my throat tight. She's not even trying anymore. This should be the moment I say something, scream, demand, break something just to make her react. But I don't. I just watch her, and a realization slams into me like a freight train. She's already gone. Whatever we had, whatever held us together for all these years, it's not here anymore, and maybe it hasn't been for a long time. That night, I lie awake in bed staring at the ceiling while she sleeps beside me. I used to love listening to her breathe, used to reach for her in the dark, just to feel her warmth. Now I don't even recognize the person lying next to me. I roll over, heart pounding. I can't live like this. I need to know the full truth, every detail, every lie. And there's only one way to get it. Tomorrow I follow her again, only this time I won't just watch from a distance. I'm going to confront them both. The next morning I'm already awake when Lena's alarm goes off. She stretches, yawns, and slides out of bed like she always does, completely unaware that I spent the entire night staring at the ceiling, waiting for this moment. She doesn't even glance at me as she pulls on her running clothes. I watch her lace her shoes, grab her keys, and leave without hesitation, without guilt. Like she's comfortable living this lie. Not for long. I wait exactly 5 minutes before heading out. The drive to the parking lot feels longer this time. My hands are clammy against the wheel, my heart hammering in my chest. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I know one thing: I'm done hiding. I pull in and spot her car immediately. She's already here. So is he. They're standing outside their cars, close, too close. I grip the wheel, steady myself. Then I step out. The moment she sees me, she freezes. Her face drains of color, her breath catches, like she's been caught sneaking out of a burning house. The man, him, turns too, brows drawing together in confusion before something else flickers across his face. Annoyance. Like I'm the problem here. I walk toward them slowly, deliberately. Lena's eyes dart around, looking for an exit that isn't there. There's nowhere to run now. Go home, she says quickly, voice tight. We'll talk later. I let out a hollow laugh. Later? My voice is calm, but there's nothing calm inside me. You've had plenty of time to talk, Lena, but you didn't, so now, we do this here. The man steps forward slightly like he's trying to position himself between us. I shift my gaze to him. Finally, I get a good look. Late 30s, athletic build, confident. He looks like the kind of guy who never thinks twice about consequences. My fists clench at my sides. This is him? I ask Lena, never taking my eyes off the guy. This is the reason you've been lying? She flinches. It's not like that. I scoff. Then tell me what it is. She doesn't. The silence is louder than any answer she could give. The man exhales sharply, like he's already tired of this. Look, man! I cut him off. Don't. He raises a brow, unimpressed, like he thinks this is his moment to assert control, like he thinks I'll just take it. But I'm not him. I step closer. He doesn't move. I don't know if I'm about to punch him, scream, or just collapse from the weight of it all. But I do know one thing. I'm not the one who should be ashamed. And as I stand there watching Lena cower in silence while this man, her man, gives me a smug little smirk, something inside me shifts. The power balance tilts, because I thought I was the one losing something. But now I see the truth. They already lost me. I don't remember driving home. One moment, I was standing in that parking lot, staring at two people who used to be nothing more than strangers to me. One I married, the other I never wanted to know existed. The next, I'm gripping the steering wheel, parked in my own driveway, heart still hammering in my chest. Lena isn't home yet. Of course she isn't. She didn't follow me, didn't chase after me. She let me walk away. That's how I know it's over. When she finally comes through the door hours later, I'm at the kitchen table, a drink in front of me, my hands clasped together, holding them still. She stands there for a moment like she's bracing herself. I don't want to fight, she says. I let out a quiet laugh, shaking my head. Fight? I lift my gaze to hers, and for the first time in weeks, maybe months, I see her clearly. She's not some mystery, not some puzzle I need to solve. She's just someone who made a choice, and it wasn't me. I push back my chair, the legs scraping against the floor as I stand. I don't either, I say, voice even, her brows knit together like she wasn't expecting that. Then can we just— No, I cut in. We can't. I shake my head. Not anymore. She sighs, crossing her arms, the defensiveness creeping back in. I didn't mean for this to happen. I let that hang in the air between us. I could argue. Could ask her how many times she drove to that parking lot. Could ask when it started. How long she's been coming home to me with him still on her skin. But the answers don't matter. Not really. Because the only thing I need to know, I already do. I turn toward the hallway. Where are you going? She asks. I don't look back. To sleep, I say. Somewhere else. I leave her standing there, arms wrapped around herself like she's cold, like she finally understands I'm done. I wake up in the guest room. For a moment in that heavy fog between sleep and waking, I forget. Then it crashes back. The lie, the parking lot, him, and Lena standing in our kitchen looking more inconvenienced than sorry. I stare at the ceiling, my mind buzzing with a single thought. What now? By noon, I still don't have an answer. Lena stays in the bedroom while I move around the house like a ghost, picking up things that suddenly don't belong to me anymore. The wedding photos, the souvenirs from places we traveled together, every little fragment of a life that no longer exists. I should be angrier, should be yelling, throwing things, demanding an explanation she'll never give. But I don't have the energy for that. Instead, I do something else. I pick up my phone and search his name. I find him easily, too easily. And I find something else. He's married. The realization hits me in waves. At first, I just stare at the screen, blinking at the perfectly curated life he presents online. Smiling beside a woman with soft eyes, in a house that probably has its own guest room where he's never had to sleep alone. Then slowly, the pieces start clicking into place. He has a wife, a life, a home that, like mine, is built on a lie. I lean back, exhaling slowly. I could ruin him. One message, one phone call, one screenshot. That's all it would take. To make his world crumble like mine did. To rip the truth out of the shadows and throw it at his feet. I hover my thumb over the message button. And then, for the first time since this started, I hesitate. Because if I do this, if I set fire to his world, I'll have to ask myself a question I'm not sure I'm ready to answer. Will it make me feel better? Or will it just make me like him? I don't message her. Not yet. Instead, I sit with the phone in my hand, staring at the woman in the photo, his wife. I wonder if she's ever felt it, that strange ache in her gut, the one I ignored for so long. Has she watched him check his phone at odd hours, felt the space between them stretch thin, wondered why he came home smelling like something that wasn't her? Or has she been blissfully unaware, living in the illusion I lost weeks ago? I could wake her up. With a few taps of my fingers, I could tear apart the world she thinks is real, just like mine was torn apart. I take a breath, then another. I don't know how long I sit there wrestling with it, weighing the kind of man I want to be against the kind of man I've been forced to become. And then, without giving myself time to overthink it, I type out the message. You don't know me, but we need to talk. I hit send. The coffee shop is half empty when she walks in. She's smaller than she looked in the photos, softer somehow. There's a kindness in her face that makes my stomach twist. I stand as she approaches, watching her scan my face, waiting for recognition that never comes. She doesn't know me, but she will. She sits. You said it was about my husband. Her voice is steady, but there's a tremor in it. She knows something's coming. I nod. I don't drag it out. I pull out my phone, slide it across the table. She picks it up, looks at the photo, and everything inside her shatters. Her breath hitches. Her hand flies to her mouth. For a moment we just sit there, two strangers bound by the same betrayal. Finally, she whispers, How long? The weight in my chest shifts. I don't know. She nods, swallows hard. Then, after a long silence, she asks the question I haven't even answered for myself. What are you going to do? I don't answer right away, because for the first time since this all started, I don't know. But what I do know, I'm not the same man who sat in that parking lot, gripping a steering wheel and pretending everything was fine. I'm not the man who begged for an explanation from someone who never planned to give him one. And I'm sure as hell not the man who's going to let this define him. So I take a deep breath, meet her eyes, and finally tell the truth. I'm going to move on. And this time, I mean it. And as usual, that was a lot. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story. See you in the next one.